Okay. All right. It is December 9th, 2018. My name is Nancy Hopkins. With me, Kimberlee Schultz, and Bobby, what's your last name?
Last name is Vaughn,
Vaughn.
Vaughn, Junior. Yeah, Junior. I like to be known as the Junior.
The junior.
Bobby Vaughn Jr. Well, Bobby Vaughn Jr. Thanks.
Okay, and we just are people who have been working on the same subjects for, my gosh, Kimberlee, how long have we been together? At least 5 years.
Yeah, in 2014, we did some radio interview stuff talking on some of these subjects. So, yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, and mainly we go on our own path, and then we come together every once in a while, and we talk about what we're finding out. And this is one of those recordings, is we're just coming together saying, what have you been finding? What have you been finding? So I'm going to just let either of you start off, because they both got sort of their own little nooks there that they're following. And so go ahead. Which one of you wants to start?
I'll start. Anyways, I'm Bobby Vaughn Jr. Kimberlee recruited me to a call to actions. I've kind of taken over a call to actions. It's been about 4 years. And what I've evolved into is an investigative journalist. I started out just doing research, but how we got together, anyways, Kimberlee and I, was our concern regarding transhumanism and posthumanism, also known as cyborgs, and all the technology that goes along with creating cyborgs in the future. So it's really important that we understand as much right now about this future technology so that we're not preyed upon in the future. So intelligence gathering is extremely important to me. Kimberlee focuses more on staying healthy. But just so our listeners know, what a cyborg is a cybernetic organism, which could be a human being, an animal. But let's focus on the human side here. The term was first coined in 1960 by two very, very in-depth researchers, Klein and Klein. They actually, at an Air Force symposium, introduced a term to the Air Force. Reason being is because in their field of research and development, this was during the height of the Cold War, the United States and Russia were both interested in recreating man to live in space. And according to the United States, the best way to do that was to recreate man in the form of a cyborg, so that a man, thus being a cyborg, would be able to brave the elements through invasive neural technologies that allowed a human being to survive extremely cold temperatures, a synthetic skin that would be perilous to the elements. So that was a Cold War then, but now here, flash forward to 2018, we have a new initiative which is actually started in Russia, and as we have seen, and what we've been talking about a little bit amongst ourselves is we are really living in the second Cold War. Maybe the Cold War never ended, but according to mainstream media, there are...
It's a different Cold War, I think. It's a technology Cold War.
Right. Now, there's an initiative that started in Russia that's migrated into the U.S., recruited top United States, Japanese, throughout the planet scientists. They even have their own political party, also known as the Global Future 2045 Party. Anyways, what their mission and goal is, it is called the 2045 Initiative. You could check out their initiatives and how many people have signed up for it already at 2045.com. Their mission and goal is to create cyborgs.
Bobby,
through four
Bob, let me ask you a question here. Is this the Russians or the U.S.?
both. It started in Russia.
So it's a party that is breaching both countries?
Yes, and that's one of my high concerns. Is in the name of a Cold War, a technological war between countries. Actually, behind the scenes, these countries are working together to progress technology on a global basis, rather than it just being nation and nation. Mainstream society does not see that, though.
I think there's been an ongoing. This has been ongoing with between Russia and the United States. That there's collusion on stuff that's not on the up and up, and you're seeing that come out in the news. We've also seen that happening in the nuclear field. So that's something that's kind of where Bobby and I connected. Was he was exposing nuclear criminality, and we're still bringing that stuff to the forefront today. But we've been on this path of exposing the transhumanism for some time, and there's a lot of other people that are, also kind of putting that out there too, and how they're doing it, and the programming through the technology, getting us to be connected constantly to feeding artificial intelligence our personal information, and so it's invasive, even though people don't realize it. Between the smartphones, the smart TVs, it's everywhere. They even have smart beds now. So you're you got your phones on you constantly. You've got people got their watches on. So everywhere they go, somehow, some way, they're feeding technology and also it's a two-way street. So they're getting affected by the technology. And, we all had this concern about where this is going with 5G. We talked about it on our last interview. And a lot of people, you sent us an article about, people are starting to talk about it in higher places, not just the everyday person, but there's a real concern about what this is all about, and part of it is to integrate us, and to integrate the man-machine, the iron and the clay, and it's done in a way through the programming that people don't even realize it, and there's anything wrong with it. They just think, I want the next coolest, best thing, and now robots can do this for me, and it starts out with, your Siri asking your phone questions and looking things up for you. Heard the other day one of our local pastors talking about artificial intelligence, and he was saying, oh, wow, now they have these robots can set appointments for you. They sound like people. They're just literally calling up and taking care of your everyday details. I mean, it's a slippery slope. I mean, it's that, like, the frog in the pot thing. Like, people just don't understand. They don't see the harm. They don't see the concern that we all have, that this is invasive, whether they realize it or not. And especially with the 5G, we're in a constant state of electromagnetic pollution. This frequency is hurting us at many levels, DNA levels. I personally can tell I'm sensitive to it because I'll feel stress, even though I have no reason to feel stress, but I'll feel physical stress around my neck, and I'm not in a stressful situation, so I know it's coming from around me, from the Wi-Fi, from the increase amount of towers and antennas and things that are going on. They've put 5G in our area. I mean, it is here. We have a 5G Wi-Fi box. Our Wi-Fi box, just one day, the 4G blows up. Okay, energy. It didn't
blow up. It didn't blow up.
But
what happened was it became inoperable, and I believe that it was
intentional.
Intentional, so that we were forced to upgrade to 5G. But there is a way to where you can change the frequency down to either 2.5G or 4G, which is very detailed. We could talk about that some other time, but there is a way. And
you remember Ruth, Nancy? Ruth is the one that actually helped us figure that out. So we actually did reduce ours back to less than 5G.
4.
So
okay, let me jump in here for a second, because as you guys well know, that I've been into the electromagnetic pollution problems for a long time, And when 5G first started being, talked about, I want to make this clear to both of our audiences that when they talk 4G and then they talk 5G, 4G signifies fourth generation. 5G does not signify fifth generation. They're using that to confuse us because 5G is not the same technology at all. It was based on the development of weapons. Okay? So it's a whole different story when you go from 4G to 5G. But let's go back to the transhumanism because you guys probably aren't the type that watch television, right?
We don't have one.
We don't have one.
Okay.
We have computers. We don't have a TV.
Okay, though. I watch television, and part of my reason, well, I look at certain things, but mostly it's to see what the people are being fed. And I can tell you that at least 1 out of 4 television program advertisements, okay, are in one way or another dedicated to AI.
Wow. Yep.
Okay? Mm-hmm. So when you look at that type of thing and you see what the thing of things, right? I mean, it's absolutely bizarre. They want to take over everything. But my partner, Walt Silva, one day we're talking about AI, and he says to me, "Oh, we already have gone to AI." And I said, "How so?" And he says, "We have biological AI." He said, if you look at people, they can't function in reality, which is true. They've tested kids, take their phones away from them. They can't exist in reality without looking into a LED screen. They're looking, so they don't even think right. It's already happening in the biological entity itself.
Yeah, it's an addiction. They have made everyone addicted to it. I had someone say that the other day. If I didn't have my phone or this or that, I wouldn't know what to do with myself. I'm like, I would be really happy and I'd actually be reading books. I would just I wouldn't be feeling like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with myself? I can't function without my artificial intelligence all around me. Well, and the TV. Yeah.
You've seen those pictures where they have people just at a table and every one of them is looking into their screen.
Yeah, I pass by coffee shops sometime. You used to see people reading books and newspapers. Everybody has a computer or some type of machine. There's not much human conversation anymore, which I think is a threat to the communication of humans as a society. Going back to the commercials, though, whenever I do watch TV, yes, you're correct. I do see a lot of. It's pretty much a worshiping of artificial intelligence.
It is.
And I don't know if you've heard of the company, but it's called Humai, Humai. They don't have a website anymore for some reason. I think they've taken their operations pretty secretive these days. They do have a Twitter page or a Facebook page. But anyways, the founder was quoted by saying, "Artificial intelligence is the new God." And what his company plans on doing, what they've already received funding from, there's a picture of them at a Freemason lodge. I'm pretty sure that they were probably taking funding from the Masons because, the Shriners donate to noble causes, right? But anyways, what they're doing is they're working on the Avatar B technology, which is an avatar in which a human brain is transplanted at the end of one's life. What that is first of all, you have to work on creating a brain life support system. And Watali Eldunin Barkowski is the project manager for that technology. But so let me explain what it would take. Okay. Keeping a brain alive outside the human body is certainly something that's grotesque, first of all, and ethically unsound. And I agree that it's completely unethical, especially because we know how research and development goes, donors, this and that. But okay, and here's where the real cyborg starts to come in, is when you take your own human brain and upload it into a completely artificial robotic / android body. Before it's transplanted, the brain has to be turned off and then has to be implanted into the android body, which is considered a full body prosthetic for the human brain, and then turned back on. And something that like graphically troubles me is, how does that brain feel when it's turned back on into a synthetic body?
Well, we've seen movies that have had, what was the one that was it RoboCop?
RoboCop.
Yeah.
The new RoboCop, really,
it was very disturbing.
Like we don't watch movies or TV too much, but I actually did watch the new RoboCop, and like from all the research and digging and document pulling and everything I've done, and all the information I know, just now, humbly know, but the RoboCop really just shows you the type of research and development that these people are doing, like the 2045 initiative.
Oh, and then, the movies are telling you, you got the Terminator stuff. I mean, as far as we're concerned, what they're building with 5G and all of these autonomous drones and whatever have you that they've done in the name of war is they're building Skynet. I mean, and they want all these sensors and surveillance and everything talking to each other. So what? So they can control our minds, so they can control our emotions, so they can program us further to accept, the new way of transhumanism, that's like a natural, we're supposed to augment ourselves with machinery, and it's not enough that we were created in perfection, from God. Now they want to play God, and they want to enhance us. And
connecting the first Cold War to this new Cold War, like I said, cyborg. The term cyborg was first coined during the Cold War to recreate man for space, right? Space technology was at the height of the Cold War in both the U.S. and Russia. But now we got U.S., Russia, Japan, and all kinds of other countries working together for actually initiating cyborgs into society and creating a socially acceptable cyborg. And the guise that they usually use is for either war or for space exploration. And the founder of the 2045 initiative, Dmitry Itskov, goes on to say in a paper, subsection, "The Revolution in Space Discovery, with an avatar, a man will no longer have to sacrifice neither comfort nor life while in space. His mind-controlled alter ego will perform any task. A man will be able to visit the most distant places of the solar system and the universe with no risk for himself. If something goes wrong, an avatar might be simply left behind." So what he's talking about is the avatar A, not the B or the C, but he's very briefly describing in a socially, to most people, a socially acceptable way of using a robot that's remotely controlled by you while you're still on Earth, right? But we need to look at the different avatars. And recreating man with interchangeable parts, once people accept the avatar A, then they'll go to B and C, and ultimately D. So remotely controlling a robot from Earth that could go to space is one thing, and then once that sparks people's attention and acceptance, then they can go on to the B, which is, man, I was an astronaut here, now I'm dying. I would like to donate my brain to the Avatar Initiative so that my brain as an astronaut can be transplanted into an artificial carrier so that I can still explore space only as a brain living in a robotic copy of myself. So it's very important that we see the conditioning, I think.
It just reminds me of a song. I'm trying to remember if it was in the 90s, Man in the Machine. And And I mean, this is everywhere. The conditioning. They want to live forever. They want to live forever in a, like the Avatar movie. We all saw that and enjoyed it. I didn't really realize what I was looking at until, later. It's like, oh my gosh, you're in an environment that's like so toxic. That's another thing. Just go ahead and make our environment so toxic that you have to put yourself into a machine because the human body can't withstand the toxicity of everything going on around it. But, when they want to implant their brain into a machine, like naturally your soul leaves your body when it's time.
Right.
But now your soul, if that is connected to the brain, I think it's more in the heart. But if you remove the brain, now you're stuck inside of a machine, like to live forever in hell. I mean, it's really, it's disgusting. This is spiritual war. They hit us everywhere. It's a physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual attack.
Yeah, I checked.
Let me just throw this in there. I don't remember what the person's name was, but they said that it's inevitable that AI is going to take over and run everything. So we might as well join AI so they'll be kind to us and won't kill us. Do you remember that being said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Elon Musk.
Was it Musk? I thought it was, but I didn't want to say that because, but what is, I mean, when you're describing this, it's absolutely chilling. It's also like, oh, come on, you people, you're crazy. But the reality is that transhumanism is much more accepted than most researchers understand. It's like some kind of a very pervasive, control over the mind. And if you, like you're doing, you see how they've been programming us for this all along. Look at these things that they wear, those goggles, is putting them into a 3D world.
I saw actually Spectrum. I go to the gym here where I work and where I live, and they have the TVs on occasionally, and I saw a thing for Spectrum on virtual reality glasses, and people are literally sitting in a tub or sitting on their couch, and they're having a different experience somewhere else.
And see what this is conditioning to accept the Avatar A, which is, through virtual reality, you can control a robot somewhere else. So that, whoa, man, there's a thunderstorm outside. I'm not going to be able to drive to work. No, I'll just put on my Oculus Rift glasses and control the robot at work, which is the Avatar A. And then we can go to B, C, and D. D is just crazy. And they all have different timelines to meet. Avatar D, that's why they call it the 2045 initiative, is so they can meet their Avatar D, which is a hologram. Like Avatar.
Like we won't even have bodies
anymore. Hologram.
We're just holograms.
Which really is an electronic ghost of oneself.
Yeah, it is an electronic ghost. That would be, I guess, the spirit, an electronic spirit.
And last time I checked, nearly yes, the ghost in the machine. Nearly 50,000 human beings have signed up for these avatars. Which avatars they've signed up for, I don't know. But there are a lot of people that I've seen from videos say that they would like to live forever, and if they could have their brain transplanted into an android copy of themselves, they would.
Well, I think they mean live forever in a good situation. But what they're doing is they're just giving over their human rights to this. Let me ask you two questions. First off, you've been at this for a little bit. I think that the people that fall for this stuff, are very unhappy people. I wonder what it is with the people that are supporting it that have everything that should make them happy. In other words, who are these people that are promoting this? That's number one question. The second question is, who's controlling them? Is it
that's exactly where I go with that.
Is it
these
like,
people,
well, let me just get this out. Is it a war between good and evil, or is it a war between biological life and artificial life? Is the war in the heavens, between God and an AI?
I mean, to me, AI is Satan using technology to manipulate human beings.
Well, it may be that Satan is the technology.
Yes, exactly. And I mean, now it progressed to a certain point where, it's war. I mean, it's biblical prophecies are being fulfilled like everywhere. I mean, we are in end times, and this is when it starts getting really crazy.
And right now is a very important time to do as much intelligence gathering as possible, because what we're preparing for, I think what people need to start preparing for is a possible battle between the machine and humans.
The system is the beast. The beast is the system.
But let me answer your questions that you asked. Who are these people? One person being the director of engineering at Google, Ray Kurzweil, a pretty common name amongst people. He's a high pusher of this technology, the singularity, which is cyborgs, making cyborgs a reality, the integrating of the man and machine on a nervous system level, invasively. Natasha Vita Moore holds a doctorate in arts and technology. She's published a lot of papers, and her concept is to create, say we're talking about transhumanism, is a posthumanism body, which is also known as the body 2.0, the human body 2.0, where the human body has interchangeable organs. Whenever your organs go bad, you can just replace it with either an artificial organ that was created.
Smart skin
that acts like an antenna to the machines. Neural prosthetics, which people know what prosthetics are. That's implants to the body that are mechanical. But we're talking about brain implants to replace, say, if your memory goes bad, you can just choose via your insurance program per se what memory prosthetic you would like to have implanted. And she's a really big pusher of the post-human movement. A lot of people, there's Peter Diamandis, Max Moore, who runs Alcor, which is a human body and brain preservation company.
You got him, right, Josh?
A lot of people that you just wouldn't really think about. We're not talking about transgender. It's far beyond that. Far beyond the transgender stuff. Transhumanism is different.
Transhumanism is transhuman, pushing us away from humanity and more towards a technological machine than a human.
Anyways, Max Moore, the preservation of the brain, the body, that's also known as cryogenics, right? He actually owns Alcor, which is cryogenic. Natasha Vita Moore and he work very closely together. Anyways, the dude, Josh Bocanegra, he's the founder of Humai, which is Humai. If you have Facebook or Twitter, you need to look at Humai, Humai, and Josh Bocanegra. It's troubling, but it's not a problem that we can't solve. And who's controlling them as opposed to who's controlling us? Who's controlling them? The machine is controlling them to think this way,
to do its dirty work.
Right. And in machines and computers, there's a master-slave system, like what gives the commands and what meets the commands, right? You give it a command, it performs it. So it's kind of a dual slavery between man and the machine when it comes down to these people who are pushing the cyborg future. They are creating the technology, but what is convincing them to create the technology?
Yeah. Do you remember seeing the movie Convergence with Johnny Depp?
I did not.
Yeah, I would highly recommend that.
It's not called convergence. It's transcendence.
Okay, sorry. Same thing, kind of.
Still haven't seen
Anyway, the
it.
movie, basically he was at death, was put into a computer and starts like taking over people's minds and taking over and building things. And it was just like, it was like AI, a snippet of what AI would look like if it got to run rampant and just do whatever it wanted. Say someone was blind, it would promise that it could give them, it was basically playing God, like at maybe more so, it was more like playing Jesus. Like he was like, oh, you need to fix that, I can take care of that for you, come on over here. It could read like his girlfriend's feelings and emotions, and it was so gross. I mean, we watch these things to see how they're telling us, yes, we have this technology, yes, we're going to push it, yes, it's being operated on a daily basis. And again, we talked about this many times in the past. We have our brightest minds being obligated by DARPA to do their dirty work, and they don't know they're doing it because everything's so compartmentalized that people wouldn't work on it, or they wouldn't be slaves to this system if they knew that they were doing something that could harm their child or their grandchild or their children's children. So it's a crazy time, but at the same time, we come all the way back to solutions. We're not out here to scare people. We are here to say, you might want to consider like detaching yourself a little bit and pulling back from the technology and not letting it monitor or just affect our emotions and get us.
The monitoring to me just seems to be an attempt by the machine.
It's profiling.
An attempt by the machine to create the best profile on every human being as possible.
That's Facebook right there.
And the guise of being very convenient. Like, it doesn't make sense to me why someone thinks that being healthy is hooking their nervous system up to Wi-Fi.
Well, it's astounding to me when we just sit back and look at how we've been programmed, how patient they are in programming us. But it seems to me that they're pushing much harder right now. And I believe that we're talking solution. I believe that the human species itself is going through an incredible transformation of awareness, of waking up to our own true being, our own true powers. I can't tell you how many, for your audience, I have a radio station and I produce a lot of shows for other hosts. And listening to their guests, in many cases, people that don't have a voice otherwise, they're just sort of coming out now. And other people they've had these powers of, we would term psychic, okay, or abnormally, powerful abilities that the average person, wouldn't think they have, but you do. And in the current energetic constructs of the universe where we are in the solar system, we're at this very strange point in the solar system as the solar system itself is passing through the galactic circle. We go around the galaxy, and there's a black sun in the middle of every galaxy. Well, right now, we're in an energy field that is full of all sorts of, especially carbon, which is the basis of life. Amazing energies, because the black sun, even though we think of it as sucking everything in, also puts out a wave, a wind, if you will, of all these basic elements of energy. When we get here, every single time, there's a big jump in humankind. The missing link is in this time frame, in this geographic area of the galactic travels that we go through, if you will. So we're into a very incredible, just a rebirth of the human capabilities. And I think that as we are adjusting and getting more powerful, they're getting more desperate.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's, we have definitely seen an exponential push. It's almost like, just going back to the 5G thing. If people are coming out and saying, hey, like, who okayed this? How do we know that this is okay for us? You didn't really see that kind of I don't think we saw it, like, until 5G. It seems all of a sudden there's just this big awareness around, like, hang on a minute, like, this, like, we gotta, like, maybe we're stepped out too far. But
Kimberlee, I was watching it. Okay, I actually was watching the 5G. It was never supposed to be even started until 2020. And when I realized that they had secretly been putting in the structure of the system, okay, and that they were turning it on, my reaction was, holy crap. And then I got this vision in front of me, and it was sand, a lot of sand, and there was a stick being drawing a line, and I went, it's a line in the sand, because when they rushed this, all right, now first off, they're rushing a technology that has not been tested. All right. Yeah. It's like my father always said to me, never buy the new car, the new model of a car, right, because it's got flaws in it that only are found after you put it out there. Okay. And then, so it looked to me like, oh, you're overstepping it. You're pushing again. You're being damn stupid, because this is going to kill so fast that there's no, I mean, I've been fighting this for 40 years, telling people they're dying from electric systems, never mind Wi-Fi systems. And all the bees are dying because of the Wi-Fi system. All the insects, 76% or now more probably, because this is an old figure, of the insects are dead. We are in an extinction event right now. It's called the sixth extinction. If you go and you Google it, you're going to find out that there are scientists all over the world freaking out, because we're losing the biosphere of Earth at the very bottom, and it's all based on that bottom. It's like taking out the bottom of your house, just ripping it out, and see how long the house is going to stand. Not long. All right. So what you got happening right now is this fundamentally not tested technology being put out that is so dangerous that people are dropping dead. They started it in the first place that I heard about. This is, I was like, what do you mean they putting it in Great Britain? And what they did actually was they had a contest, and so towns like, do you want to be the most modern town, And the towns, well, the town that won. The people are dying at incredible rates from heart problems, weird heart problems, and cancers that just aren't supposed to be there in those numbers, and a tremendous number of natal problems, stillbirths, and also the animals are dying like crazy, their pets. So this one guy, and I can't remember his name, but there's been many of them, they started waking up very fast because everybody around you is dying. Because you're the modern city? What is it? It's a Wi-Fi. And then they just turned on in The Hague a Wi-Fi 5G system to test it out, and over 100 sparrows fell from the air. And the animals in the park within the range of this thing started running away. The dogs, they all took off. They were running. Now, you tell me that this isn't absolutely killing. So what's happening is that it's waking up. I've been watching it. People all of a sudden, everybody's talking 5G. We can't do this. You can't do this. And finally, we had this. I sent you the article. A Democrat from Connecticut has pushed to demand that the head of the FCC, Federal Communications Commission, that he prove what he stated when he said 5G was safe. Now, of course, he can't, because there is no proof. Everything says no. My God, it's a suicide mission. So we're at this crossroads, all right, where people are waking up because they went too far. You got to put a thing out there that doesn't kill slow enough, honey. All right, and on top of that, you're putting in this massive amount of AI. Oh, but we need this because of the thing. It's like, this is insanity, total insanity. But
the Internet of Things, the IoT, the Internet of Things, and really what it is, it's how, when implementing the Internet of Things, all these small devices, large devices, drones, this and that, it's how it communicates with each other. It's how it all communicates. It's the air that it breathes. And going back to you were talking about smart cities, I just want to bring that up a little bit. Is on September 13, 2017, there was a press release from a company named Cyberdyne. It's a Japanese-based company that specializes in cybernetics. It's a real company. They entered into an agreement. Let me read this. Entered into an agreement on comprehensive collaboration partnership with Abaraki Prefecture and Tsukuba City on July 12, 2017 to realize Cybernic City that coexists with futuristic technology such as cybernetics, and also to turn Cybernic City into a field of social implementation of Society 5.0. And the different societies, Society 1 was the Agricultural Society, Society 2 was Industrial, Society 3 was Information Society. But anyways, to create a city based on the Internet of Things, to roll the blue carpet out for Society 5.0. And if you guys want to check out Cyberdyne, it's cyberdyne.com. It's a Japanese company. Their front is to create technology, that assistive technology to help people walk and things like that.
Yeah, they always have something good to offer. It's like you said, their cover, and I'm going like beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. And going back to what you said about 5G not being fifth generation, but weapons technology, we have been following what Air Force 2025, this is a military paper I'm holding in front of me right now, called Worldwide Information Control System, or WICS, W-I-C-S. Yes, the 5G connects to the weapons technology, which is constant surveillance. They tested it out through war, situations, through starting in gosh knows when, heavily in the 90s with different places. What is it? This DARPA thing we're looking at right here is the 100G fiber optics backbone system. This comes from their website, and it shows you all the different levels of, stuff in the air above a certain level of, I don't know how high it is up there, but anyway, so you have ships, you have ground people, you have an ad hoc systems, and they're all like talking to each other. So we're in a surveillance state. Like, they want to know where we are at all times. They want to track us through our whatever we're wearing at the time, so they know where you are. Like, at what point, we've seen movies where they can just send a drone out and just take you out. They know where you are, and it's like they've got a location point on you.
The 100G, the 100 gigabytes per second, is meant to be a communication radio frequency backbone that connects machines on the ground to machines in the air. We're talking about drones connecting with ships, and autonomous ships have actually been launched. So what we're looking at, and we put all this stuff together, is a real life Skynet system. And if we just sit back and allow it to happen, we're dead.
Well, how we disallow it is to disconnect from having the technology on us all the time and not buy these smart based systems. I'm looking at another paper from April 2007, again from Air War College, continuously available battlefield surveillance. In one of their areas, they were surveying, this is about the 2025 initiative, and about war on who. The survey recipients were asked to pick 3 enabling technologies that will have the greatest impact on the future of the UAVs. What does that stand for?
That stands for unmanned aerial vehicles. What that is, those are drones. So that could either be autonomous, semi-autonomous, or remotely controlled. The ones that I'm really worried about are the autonomous UAVs.
Yeah, and they said that the greatest impact on the future of UAVs in the year 2025, and the clear winner amongst the experts was artificial intelligence.
Of course.
So they want to connect the AI with the autonomous.
And distributing these new networks of 5G is helping the ground machines communicate with the air machines, either autonomous, remotely controlled, but really what they're going for is to create as much autonomy as possible. With like self-driving cars, that's the way that they try to spoon-feed society into accepting autonomous machines.
Yeah.
So we need to resist it. Solutions, in my opinion, if we can go into some solutions here.
Yeah, let's do that.
In my opinion, right now is as much intelligence gathering as possible and creating small pockets of resistance networks that really focuses on ensuring humanity's survival right now.
Well, before we want to let people know that if they want to review the documents that we are talking about, there's a lot of links and things and connecting of the dots and visuals that you could see on our website, which is a call to actions with an s.com. So there is one particular document in there called SWARM, SWARM. If you just put a call to actions, SWARM, it'll be the first thing that pops up if you do a search. And there's a lot of information if people want to dig into the details of what we're talking about here. It's anywhere from Berkeley University saying that they're going to swarm everyone with all this technology. They'll give you visuals, and you can just keep going down and looking at all the different technologies people are wearing. And some of this is, there's even more updated stuff coming our way. And then Bobby's article that he's talking about.
One article that's the most mentally shattering thing that I've ever had to do the research and document digging to write was an article that I put up on a call to actions is Humans and Androids, Cold Metal, Cold War. That was a couple of years ago, but now we're really seeing tensions between the U.S. and Russia when actually behind the scenes they're actually working together on the same technological future. So it's just a front, and don't believe the crap that they say on TV because they're lying. Just do your own research and come to your own conclusions. But I think the most important thing you can do is to stay as healthy as possible and to create your own little pockets of resistance. And Nancy, I wanted to bring this up. I was even talking to my mom earlier, and she wanted me to bring this up, is, how we have copper integrated socks, where companies have integrated copper for like knee recovery and, sports recovery and stuff like that, right? How do we go about integrating shungite into our clothing on a material basis, actually weaving it in somehow?
Well, I don't know that you can do that with shungite. You don't need to, because all you have to do is basically we've got so many different things on the website cosmicreality.net. We've got stickers. Shungite's such another story. Shungite can protect us from many, many things, but it cannot protect us from 5G, because 5G is not designed to work at the electromagnetic field to basically bust you up. It's a microwave system, but that's not the problem. I can stop that. But it's the mind control stuff. Okay, so to me, people keep saying, well, is there a shungite, device that can, yes, we have it. But I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to push it, I'm not going to put out something and say, 5G, this will no, it will protect your physical body. But these things, these energies are cooking your brain. And it's not a matter of attenuating or changing the frequency like we can with the 4G network. Okay? It's a matter that they are so far into your neural circuits that they're causing you to see. In the 4G, the only problem with it, we do not want to lose our technology. We want to fix it so it's biocompatible. The problem with it is that it's rotating. The energy fields are actually rotating counter to what your cells are rotating. And if you've got a powerful enough field hitting you continually like we do now, then your cells are not functioning correctly. One of the way they can tell if somebody's got what way is the blood cells rotating. Because if they're rotating in the biocompatible way, well, then you're healthy. If they're not, it means you are sick and probably got cancer. All right? And I've known this since the 90s. All right? This is a known fact. We have shown that you put a cell phone on somebody, their blood starts to rotate the wrong way. You put one of our stickers on it, it goes back to rotating correctly. But that's not where the problem is. The problem with the new 5G is that it is hitting you at a neurological level. It's not just the attenuation of the signal or busting up your cells. It's actually attacking you in your neurological, the way that you're perceiving things. And that's where the problem is that when when they turn these things on. Now, are you in a 5G environment right now?
They have put it in all around us, yes.
Okay, now let me just ask you, is it actually 5G or is it 5 gigahertz? Because what they've done is they came here and they made me the same thing you did. You know, the modem wasn't working anymore, right? Well, they threatened it wasn't going to work if I didn't swap it out. And I said, what are we swapping it out for? Well, we're swapping it out for 5G. And I'm looking at it and I'm going like, do you know what 5G is? And they said, yeah, just look at it. It says 4 and there's 5. I said, 5 gigahertz. It's not 5G. And so what they have done is that they are psychologically getting people to accept these 5G things that they keep calling. It's 5 gigahertz. It's not 5G. All right? So they go, oh, I've been in the 5G. There's no problem here. No, you haven't. You were in 5 gigahertz. That's why you can turn it down. You know, the day that you see an antenna go down your street, it's a funny looking small antenna. That's 5G. When they put it in front of my house, that's 5G. Okay? When they turn it on, you know what's going to happen? You're not going to think right anymore. Because as soon as you get into the 5G field, your biological human brain is not in a frequency that is compatible for life. All right? It has nothing to do... It's okay. This is one of the most astounding and more important things to understand, is that when they first had the cosmonauts going up for long-term duration in space, they were coming back crazy. Now, when I heard about this, I thought it was, just a disinformation thing about it was a Cold War. I'm 70 years old. I go back a long time. I can tell you stories of how this all started. And what happened was that the Russian or Soviets at the time, they thought it was maybe radiation. They went through a whole gamut of things. And finally they figured out what it was. When you put people away from the electromagnetic field of Earth for a certain given time, it starts to fall apart because it's designed to work in that environment. So now on any manned spacecraft, they have what's called the Schumann resonator. And the Schumann resonator is a device that duplicates the bioelectromagnetic field of Earth. Now, I'm going to say something here because we're only going to do an hour show. We've only got 7 more minutes here. And I want to explain something to people that this is not just simply, the three of us talking about some really scary shit. This is a war between good and evil. Yes. I've been at this for a very long time, and I keep going back to the Garden of Eden and the devil and, and the war between God and Lucifer, and it all comes down to this concept of between good and evil. And yes, in many ways we are getting the signs that this is at least the end times of this story. I don't believe it's the end time of Gaia, Mother Earth, nature. This is a totally different thing. This is human beings. Are we going to make it or not? Because the animals are not making it, the insects are not making it. Why would we think that we're going to make it? But that resonance, see, everything in the universe is energy. It's an energy universe, and this is quantum physics. This is metaphysics, but it's also quantum physics. And when you get into the understanding that it's all energy, then when you realize that the Schumann resonance itself, which for eternity had been an average earthwise of 7.5 hertz, is now suddenly peaking into 35 and 40? Gaia herself, nature herself, is changing. Now, is this frequency change good for AI? I don't think so. But I think it's really good for human beings. And what I'm stressing here is that we're in a transitionary point in which we as human beings have the opportunity to essentially witness and exhibit exactly what Jesus Christ said. You will be able to do the things that I do. All right?
And more.
And more. And more. All right? Now, so you've got this energy that is coming from Gaia herself. Why is Shungai able to heal? Why is it able to get rid of toxics? Why is it able to make the technology safe? Why is it? Because Gaia gave it to us. Mm-hmm. It's a leveling. It levels the playing field. But when you get yourself into a Shungite environment and the basic 4G Wi-Fi electric systems we have now, you begin to think right. Your body begins to feel right. All of a sudden you begin to feel empowered. And that's the only way we're going to do this, is each individual realize your power. You don't have to succumb to what they're telling you is artificial. If they're going from, transgender is there, and they're pushing transgender, not because they like gay people, but because they want you to get used to looking at a robot that doesn't have a gender at all.
Yeah. There's more of the programming.
Let it go. Just let it go. Work on yourself, because that's where the power is. As they're running around doing all this stuff, all we have to do is focus on our own beingness. And I say this because when you as an individual begin to put yourself into a state of stability and a state of connecting with what is human in you, your emotions, your love. You think these machines are going to be able to put out love? I don't think so.
No.
Have you ever hugged a machine? Not very much fun.
No.
Okay, so that's who we are. The God force is in a human being. It is not in an AI. But if you, as a human being, give up your right to God force, well, then you're going to be an eternity in hell.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And it's really essentially what the 2045 initiative is setting people up for is a techno-electronic hell on Earth that you signed up for and paid for.
And chose to, got basically programmed to accept. Mm-hmm. I do want to make mention, though, how you say the Shungite does help get your mind into a place where it's, basically back into balance. I have noticed, I usually have it on all the time, every day, almost every day, at least. I always have it on at night. One time I did somehow took it off, and I had a remarkably different experience in sleep. And I wouldn't have known the difference until I realized, wow, I felt like I was attacked all night long, and I don't have that experience when I have it on. So it's definitely a mind control, mind attacking weaponry that we have around us.
And we must thank the one who created Earth, the one who created all that is attuned with the human spirit, God himself. Give the glory to God. But yes, this is a battle between good and evil. Which side do you choose?
Yeah.
It's
I just want to mention one other thing about solutions.
I
put that article up on our vegan website, which is mainly focused on health. So if you want to go to lovelivingvegan.net and go to the health articles section, there's a lot of really good information in there on solutions. And I just put up that Shungite article I shared with you about. It goes into a lot of detail about all the stuff that you've talked about and we've talked about in the past. and gets really into the detail of what shungite can do and how it can help us. And we are so very grateful for you having that available to people. And we send people to your way all the time. And we have it. Bobby's mom's got it. My sister, my mom. We're trying to protect our family members, and we highly recommend that those that are listening look into, and that's your website, cosmicreality.net. Yeah,
I have a shungite bracelet. I wear it on my ear, on my left ear a lot, actually. I just let it hang from my ear.
To protect from the Wi-Fi that's coming from the
try
left.
To protect from the 4G that my computer receives. The electromagnetic frequency comes in through my left side, so I wear my bracelet hung on my left ear. I know it might look weird, but it's effective. I'm more here for being effective, not looking good.
Well, one of the things that, because we are at the top of the hour, but one of the things that we have just put out, because we've been working on it, but we think we've got the fix now, you know where the electric outlet is? Now, this is just your electric outlet, okay? But when you unplug something, it doesn't mean the force of the energy disappears. It's still coming out, and it bleeds into your home. Now, that's what I was concerned about before Wi-Fi, was that field, okay? Well, now we have these plates. You just take off the old electric plate, you know, the plastic thing that's over them, and you put ours on it. And they've been painted. We made a shungite, an S4. Now, S4 is silver saturated. It's not your average shungite, and it works against the Wi-Fi. So when you put these things on your electric outlets, the electricity is still coming through. It doesn't block it. It doesn't do any of that. What it does is it attenuates it and puts a signature of shungite on it. So all of a sudden, instead of having weird energies that are damaging to you, you are being bathed in shungite energy. And these things are very, very affordable. All right, so go to Cosmic.
We're going to get some immediately.
Going into the future and ways to protect ourselves from these machines and different frequencies that these machines will be giving off is, shungite is going to be part of this future that the resistance is going to have to work with. And thank you for all the inspiration, all the push of shungite that you've contributed thus far.
Absolutely.
Well, we do what we can do, but I truly believe that we're at a point where be hopeful, be full of certainty, because there's just too much happening that is counter to all the bad stuff that we're talking about. But it requires every individual to be engaged, and it doesn't mean you have to go out and protest. It means you have to learn. You have to take the time to learn what we're explaining, and then teach others, so that they can also get to a place of not just, because like I say, so many people are already biological AI. That's got to stop. And the only way we stop it is with information.
Yep, and even if they don't want to go into the real detail of the information, at least they can know how to protect themselves with the information that we're talking about, that they can, such as shungite and some of the other things that we are covering, just basic health things that we do every day. If you're not detoxing, you're toxic. So you got to get the heavy metals out. You got to, food is medicine, not pharmaceuticals. So it's those little things that, you got to find those that you can trust, and then try those things and see how they work for you. And then when they work for you, share it with your family, share it with your friends, share it with your coworkers.
Working together, unity is what's going to help pull us through.
Well,
at the core of it all.
To be honest with you, Gaia was so, just unbelievable. Shungite will take the heavy metals out of your body. Okay.
That's awesome. Just another thing that shungite does.
Because a heavy metal toxin, is rotating counterclockwise to biological life. Shungite's connected to the quantum field, so it busts it up. When you got an electromagnetic wave, it just turns. You don't lose any functionality or power. But when a molecule tries to turn, it can't, and so it absolutely falls back into harmless atoms. That's why you never have to change shungite water systems, because it doesn't absorb, it transmutes. So, you guys want to say bye-bye to your audience. If you want, if you wanted to do the hour, because I'll go longer if you want. Okay, all right.
Yeah,
good.
we just love to come back around and bring these subjects up again and again for all that hear this and that share that with your friends and family. This is not to scare anyone. This is for us to come together and focus on solutions. But if you don't know there's an issue, you can't focus on a solution. We're just saying that there's a situation around us that we should be acknowledging, and then we need to move into solutions as quickly as possible.
Amen. That's it. Okay.
All right,
we good to go?
We're good to go, Nancy. Thank you so much for all that you have done and continue to do.
Same to you. Let's do these things more often. We can do these on a regular basis.
We should. We shall.
I'd say at least on a yearly basis.
We're running out of years. All right. I'm going to stop.
There's always so much stuff to look into. I just want to say that intelligence gathering is something that's really important at this point right now. If you need any tips or any clues, you can go to a calltoactions.com. So yeah, Nancy, thank you very, very much for this.
My pleasure. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
You're welcome.
All right,
we'll talk to you very soon. God bless everybody.
Everybody be safe and be blessed.
Yes.
Stay resistant.